Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I've got my wife here today, Carrie. She's going to be sharing her thoughts on a compound interest mindset and what that means to her now. Okay, so you've heard it many times over, a compound interest mindset. It's in the 10 pillars of investing, the free course that we have at Good Fruit Investors.
Yeah.
So what does a compound interest mean to you? What does that mindset look like now?
Wow. So now what it means to me is even if we start small, compound interest grows over time. So I knew that saving money was important. You know, from when I was young, saving money is important, but when you are investing that money earlier, then even if you put in a small amount, it can snowball and it grows exponentially.
Yes.
So it doesn't just, move along with you through life and you keep pouring money in the pot and that's how it grows. It can grow exponentially like a big snowball rolling down a hill when you're making a snowman. It just can keep growing and growing. So I think I really started to understand compound interest more when we were working with the compound interest calculator online, right?
Right.
So seeing what the money that we invest could look like over 5, 10, 15, 30, 40 years.
Right.
What the difference is that only, 5 years can make.
Right.
When you're thinking about compound interest.
So like just an example would be like if you take something like 8% and you amortize that or you basically look at that over the course of 10 years, right? You're looking at doubling pretty much your investment. And then if you take that same amount and you look at it over 20 years, you're looking at like 5 times your money. And then you look at it over a course of 10 years, you're looking at like 11 times your money. And what that equates to percentage-wise, it's like if you were to look at 30 years, you're talking about over 1,000%, right? You're talking about 1,100%, give or take. So like that's a huge difference if you were to look at your previous self and say, hey, this $1 right here is worth a significant more. It's worth 1,100% more,
Right.
Than what it is here today. I think we would probably have a bit of a different understanding on investing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that's important that we are going to teach our kids growing up, like the value of starting early, of having this compound interest mindset, and being okay to wait. So don't touch that investment, let it grow. Because another thing we talked about too, having the compound interest mindset is and correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you have your snowball that's growing, if you keep scraping snow off of it, it's not really going to get the same momentum and growth.
That's right.
So if you keep taking that money out, it's not going to grow as much.
Right. So what you're saying is if you have an investment and that 1 year you have a little bit of like a return,
yeah,
and you're like, okay, now I'm going to take that profit, but I'm going to keep the same amount in, right? You're not really
going to
doing
get
yourself
the same benefit 5, 10 years from now. So it's better to take that profit, put it into the snowball, and just let it roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And like, it's a very true statement to say something like that. And a lot of people, when they do get to retirement, the way that they actually start pulling their funds when they get to that stage is they actually only take like a smaller percent. So, they are doing that scraping effect. But that's usually when they're needing to use it after that snowball has gotten so large. On a monthly basis, they're only needing to scrape off little portions. So, they're able to keep that snowball basically staying big for a longer period of time. And so that's really that effect that you're looking for.
Yes.
To get that snowball, build it all the way up, get it all the way to a point where it's extremely large. And then that way, when you're scraping those little chunks of snow off, they make a larger impact on your household dynamic, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, are there any other thoughts around compound interest that come to mind or?
No, I just think that when it comes to compound interest, patience has to go right there with it.
Ooh.
To let it happen. So even if you see things ebbing and flowing, being patient to let it accumulate is so important.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming into the studio today and like just sharing your thoughts. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you all for watching and looking forward to see you in the next one.